Get ready to discover answers in the Bible with Bayless Conley.
Listen, family responsibility is huge with God. Underline, exclamation point. In 3 Timothy, when it gives the qualifications for ministry, almost half of the verses dealing with qualifications for ministry deal with family responsibility in one way or another. It is very high on God's priority list. I have a friend that actually is or was quite close with a gentleman that spent some years in prison. And the gentleman that went to prison actually was a minister of the gospel. But he got involved in some illegal dealings and ended up having to spend 5 years in a minimum security prison. And when he got out, they held a meeting of pastors as he shared from his brokenness and talked about the things that he had learned, the things that had gone wrong, and lessons that he had learned. My friend said in that meeting, he said, you know, my son came into the prison on his 16th birthday. It was the first time he was able to come without a chaperone. In the minimum security facility I was in, at 16, he could come in by himself. He said he spent the whole day with me in the prison. We hung out in the prison yard. We sat on the benches out there and talked. We ate some food together. I showed him in the shop. I showed him my room where they locked me in, where I stayed. He said at the end of the day, after having spent a day with me, he said, my 16-year-old son said, Dad, this has been the greatest day of my life. He said, I looked at him and said, what are you talking about? You just spent a day with me in prison. He said, Dad, you don't understand. My whole life, all I ever wanted was to have one day with you. But you were always so busy with ministry and with work. You never had time for me. You always were surrounded by people. This is the first time I've ever had you all to myself for one day. It's been the best day of my life, Dad. And my friend said at that moment, several of the ministers got up and left the meeting, not because they were offended. They went out with tears streaming down their faces because they knew they needed to call their kids and make time for their children. And that guy said, look, don't be a fool like I was.